Our reporting and election conference of the student representation of Faculty of Economics and Business Administration. Hello, everyone. We are participating in this conference virtually, like so many times this year, but we've learned a lot. And this also gives us a possibility to join the activities of our faculty from everywhere in Lithuania, and we can also make the decisions, pick the representatives of the students in all the different bodies and units. I can't see you, everyone, yet, but I see that you're connecting to the meeting, so thank you so much for joining. I see that it's important for you to join our conference. So I think we can start with that. Go ahead with the conference. You can also see our Dean, Mačirinskienė. We're very happy that we have a very good relationship with the Dean. We've been cooperating very well with the Dean. I do hope that the faculty will remain very forward-looking, will offer new initiatives, and work towards better future for all the community. Dean, thank you for joining. I'll give the floor for your short welcoming message. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Well, it's really an incomparable feeling to the actual being in the room with you, to see you, because it's always interesting to see your feelings, because of course the reporting and election conference is always an important thing for you, maybe a bit stressful. So now I'm sitting at my computer and trying to imagine how you're going to feel. However, thankfully I had an opportunity to actually visit a real meeting room. However, you didn't have this opportunity. You had to work remotely all the time. I think this is a very important and very difficult experience for you. For me, this year has been, I guess, the most difficult in my whole career. It's been in relation to my job, but also to the people we lost. We lost some people. Well, I haven't heard about any lost students who would pass away or the faculty, but I do believe that everyone might have lost someone in their families. I would like to offer my condolences, and I think that we have to keep this experience in mind and think about how we're going to live in the future. I would like to thank once again the whole team for your efforts this year. I'd like to thank everyone and each one of you, because the year was very difficult. Then what I would like to point out is that if you succeeded in this difficult year, you'll have even more success in a normal year. I'd like to point out another important thing. I think that the last year has taught us a few important things. First of all, to cherish our direct communication, the possibility to be together. Also, it taught us to be careful, to protect ourselves, to maybe avoid unnecessary contacts. They also taught us to cherish the ability to see, smell, feel what's going on. And I do believe that for you, the young people in your studies, this is very important. On one hand, yes, technologies allows us to see and feel and express a lot. But then, on the other hand, there's also this direct experience. So whenever you will have now a chance to meet personally, face-to-face, well, use these opportunities, because this is very important. I would like to thank this team for many other things. First of all, for the Mercury event. It was a really cool event. I really enjoyed it. I hope it was also enjoyable for you. There were a lot of interesting things and experiments. We weren't sure about some of the experiments, but I do hope that everyone enjoyed it. I think that everyone enjoyed what we did, what you did. So that was cool. There were some unsuccessful attempts. I think that you'll all talk about this when evaluating the performance of the team. We also have some fun. We also had some fun moments. We're discussing whether we should have the summer camp for the first-year students. We're still thinking about having the summer camp. Well, and now we can only think whether we have one for the for this year, and we might be able to do this. There were lots of stressors in this year, and despite that, the team managed to do a lot. Of course, they will share their successes. I would like to thank for one of those, one of your successes is the relationship with the administration. You were thanking me, but I would like to thank you too. Claudius probably was the first to actually come into contact, come into this relationship. So I'm very happy that every next chairperson increases and develops the relationship. And that's very important for us, because you are the direct, direct contact with the students, direct representatives of the students. And you can tell us very quickly what we're doing well, what we're doing not so well, what we need to improve. So I thank you. Thank you for that. I thank every member of the team for all the efforts during the year, for giving up your personal time, because these activities are very important in your personal life. They take a lot of time. I know that Claudius is still single because of that, so keep that in mind. So I really feel that I need to thank you for this. Now, I don't know who's the candidate to become the next chairperson and who will join the next representation, but I'm looking forward to meeting the new team, so I'd like to invite you immediately to meet, also maybe outside. We can start meeting outside, we can talk, discuss, we can discuss what we can do in the year. And, well, I'm thanking the current team for the third time, I guess now. Thank you and best of luck in the future. Thank you, Dean, for these very kind words. It was very important for each of us to hear that from you and to see your evaluation from this side. Thank you also for joining our conference today. And we'll move forward, and we will now select the chairman of the conference. Claudius has already introduced himself, so I would like to offer our ex-chairman and the president of VUSA, Claudius Melis. Can you support this candidacy for chairmanship? And if you have something against, please express your opinions in the chat. I see no one against, so I'll give the floor to the chairman of the conference. Please, Claudius. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you, Dean, for your comments. Well, we might have some new news regarding this period. Once we meet offline, we'll have many things to discuss, and I do hope that we'll be able to meet each other at university, face-to-face. So I will chair the reporting and elective conference. We'll make sure that everything goes smoothly, and we need to produce the minutes. So Milda Strupaitytė, I would like to suggest Milda Strupaitytė as my helper in this conference. Is anyone against? I'll count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I see no one against. Right. Another thing. I'm very glad that our conference is today actually monitored by our foreign students.
I'm really happy that you are also watching us. I know that today you are here with the translation on Discord platform, but I'm really satisfied about this, that I could speak with you. So I hope that this conference, this annual convention will be quite good here. And if you have any questions here, you can just ask simply in the chat platform or whatever in YouTube, or just simply raise your hand. And now I will go to Lithuanian because major students are speaking Lithuanian language, and it will be easier for us just to communicate it this way. Taigi, pereinam į lietuvių kalbą.
Right, so let's continue the conference. It will continue in Lithuanian. I've just welcomed our international students, and we have interpretation into English in the conference. I think this is a very good achievement. It's great that we have that we can have a bilingual events. Last year we had a few events like that, and we're continuing this tradition. Now, for the conference, we have a team. Arturas Smenka is helping with the registration. Agneta Mashiūnaitė is helping with the e-Balsas voting platform. Milda Strupaitytė will produce the minutes, and Justinas Kavaliūnas will take care of all the streaming issues. So if you run into any problems, please let us know. I also know that that we have some viewers from outside. Students in the faculty, you can comment on the conference in YouTube, on the YouTube platform. You can register yourself in the event, and you can register and then join this MS Teams chat room. So I guess these are all technical issues, technical questions. If you have any issues or questions, raise your hands in the meeting room or write that in the chat. We'll be able to solve everything. And please, everyone, turn your cameras on. Even though that's still not a real face-to-face connection format, but it's still much nicer once we are able to see each other. And that's also important for the people who will present them and present the candidates. Of course, the dean will want to see who's going to be the next chairperson. So we need to see the people who will be on the board and the other commissions and representations. We need to be able to see the people so we can recognize them once we meet them actually in the university, in the classrooms. Now let's move to the voting commission. That's another technical issue. I'm suggesting 3 members for the commission. Is anyone against? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one is against. So I am waiting for the candidates. You can offer candidations in the chat. Karina, Agne. We need a 3rd person. Karina is suggesting Justinas Peško. I'm asking Justinas Peško, do you agree? Justina Peško is saying okay in the chat. Okay. We have 3 candidates for the commission. Let's wait for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. Okay, so we have 3 members for the commission. Can we approve this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one against. I would like to congratulate the voting commission. Please select the chairperson, and I will invite you to inform us who's the chairman later. Now, let's look at the draft agenda. I'd like to share my file. I hope you can see it well. That's the agenda for our conference, for the convention. As you see, it's in 2 languages, so everyone can understand what's going on. Now the times are in Lithuanian Standard Time. So if you're watching this convention from somewhere else, from a different country, maybe from the other side of the world, we'll always indicate the times by Vilnius times, by Lithuanian time. And we also indicate the time for all the breaks in Lithuanian time. These are the suggestions for the draft agenda. Now, one change for the agenda. All the representatives for the commissions, for the board, for the council, for the parliament, and for the conference, we should elect everyone in one voting round. We did that in the philology faculty in the previous meeting. That went very well. Is anyone against? Because that would help and save a lot of time. No one is against. Is anyone against the draft agenda? No one is against, right? So we are approving the agenda by general agreement. Let's move on then. The first issue, the first point of the agenda is the report on the activities from the 2021 year for student representation. We have 20 minutes on the agenda, but I'd like to only have 15 minutes for that. So in 10 minutes, I will inform that we're running out of time.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would also like to say something to our international students in English.
Good evening, everybody.
So you can switch to the voice channel.
Today, and I will switch to Lithuania. We'll present our year's report, what our organization has done. Switching to Lithuanian, but really glad that you are joining and would see and join in our event.
So please confirm you can see the presentation. I'll start. Yes, we do. So let's start now. So I'll try to be as brief as possible. If I will miss something, then you can later on raise questions. So let's start with the yearly annual report. So the main cases throughout the year, I will present those cases and the achievements. So the first case, the objective, was related to the economics and management studies, related to the study material, teaching methods, etc. And what happened throughout the year, what we did. So we presented certain feedback survey to certain students, and we received their feedback on their teachers. We also analyzed the good practices of the Vilnius University and other students, and what was the result of this whole year of actions. We have analyzed data, and we made a list of teachers who didn't use the updated material and who didn't engage actively the students. And we provided certain recommendations for those teachers who didn't use those methods. We started communication already, and we will continue the feedback process with the lecturers. We will continue to share our best practices as well. We will discuss on different opportunities that students have, also different assessment opportunities. So we want to ensure that students are also able to voice their concerns throughout the semester, not only at the end. Second case. We started working with this case from the last year already. So maybe we didn't finish everything last year, but the main objective of this case was specialization of the economics program. So now we have different programs. So there is no problem anymore, but the program which was economics and management, they had to choose specialization in the past. So we continued what we started last year. So 2 surveys were prepared. One was for everybody from first, 4th year students about the importance, whether students wanted to change the situation of specialization. Also, the 2nd year students expressed what they prefer. This was a very intensive work within the committee. There were different proposals in terms of the program. We analyzed the program between all the study program committee. So there were 6 proposals given, and they were discussed in the study college. So we decided to reduce the specialization to 2 in the economics studies. And this will ensure that the students will be able to freely choose the specialization they prefer. So already the economics students know about these changes, and in the future we are planning to review the whole program. Also, what I wanted to add is that last year, the items of our agenda of last year, we didn't forget them either. So we continued to work on the specialization of economics. And also the second point of our agenda was adaptation of our faculty. However, due to pandemic, certain projects were suspended. But I'm hoping that soon we will be able to continue with the project. The initiatives which were launched by the project will be continued in the future. And the third case was related to communication and publicity. So later on, I will share what happened with this case. Okay, so the next slide. You can read further in detail about this in our report. But this is a list of the commissions where we participated, how we represented the interest of students. We expressed our opinion on certain matters of regulation and other important matters. Also, we performed representation in the Erasmus Plus program and selection process. We also there was also MG Baltic fund, and we participated in scholarship, and we participated in that. So, in terms of representation, we analyzed those 2 cases I presented before. We also met with the study program committee. We also met with representatives of that committee, and we wanted to make sure everybody was up to date. We also wanted to ensure that the students knew everything what was happening. Also, the training for the members of FEBA were given about representation. Also, what was important was work with study program committee. We searched for students and we divided those students according to study groups. Another area was administrative area and the coordination of the Lithuanian student identity card. So we provided consultations about this identity card, what they need to do, how to change the identity card, how to return it, etc. And also another important job we did was document management and archiving. So what we achieved is we ensured that the documents are archived and all the agendas and meeting minutes were uploaded on the database. Another area of our activities was social and academic. We provided student consultations on academic and social matters. During our meetings, we wanted to ensure that everybody had their competences and improved their competences. We applied various innovative simulation methods and others. We also had an election of the best lecturer of our faculty. At the end of the semester, we discussed with the administration on the matters related to remote learning. We made some proposals. We also communicated them the problems which we heard from the students from the previous semester in spring of last year. We also drafted certain memos for lecturers. Also, our representatives participated in the gender equality instrument plan according to SPHERE project. So this plan was already presented at the last meeting of the council. The dean presented this plan. Also, we discussed and we reviewed the student science group vision. And so we hope that this vision we have presented will be given to the next team that will start their work after our term. We communicated and cooperated with the administration. We organized study fair. Another important activity is this cooperation of different areas. We organized social and organizational events. So there was a discussion organized to commemorate the combat with Cancer Day, Global Day. So there was an event for this. And also on the 8th of March, we organized a discussion on the gender stereotypes. In terms of organizational area, we also did many things. I'm happy that in Christmas, we managed to organize an event. We had a kind of pub quiz. And we also organized international Christmas event, which was participated by our international students. I'm very happy about that. So they could get to know our organization better and to also get to know the faculty better in this event. Another very successful event was related to LinkedIn, because it's very important for students to know about LinkedIn, how it works, what's important nowadays. So the presentations by experts were done about LinkedIn platform. It was attended by 122 members of the Vilnius University community. Also, I'm very happy that for 442nd birthday of the university, we organized a quiz, and it was attended. It was quite popular, and it was a very big event because all the other students' representations offices joined. and other units of the students' representation, and it was really, there were many attendees, over 100. Days of Mercury. So we organized a great managers team for this event. We had a discussion and meeting with the administration. We also had a discussion about the future of Days of Mercury. We also organized managers training. So I believe this was a really good event. There was a huge surprise as well. An open talk we had with our Honorable Dean. We had also interesting participants too, who had very important topics to present, which are very important nowadays for our society. And in the end, we had a humor event with Humor Club. There was also a group game which was organized remotely to unite our community members. So we invited the students to join, to get to know each other better, and so on. I'm very happy that this was an opportunity for them to get to know the faculty better. Communications area. So we made public social and academic information. We also informed of our events and initiatives via internet and other means. As a result, there were over 300 original visual materials that were shared across social media and other means. We also have now, we want to ensure that the international students can read all the information. So now we have on Facebook bilingual posts. So this is a very good achievement too. And also from last year's activities, what we continued to this year is we performed an analysis and we created a communications and marketing platform. There were several reasons for the creation of this platform. We wanted to ensure that we create our image as an organization which is a serious organization, responsible organization. We also wanted to be attractive to potential cooperation partners. And what I mentioned in the previous year's conference is that certain discussions are lacking between our community members. So I'm really hopeful that this platform will be an area for experts to discuss the most current news and important things. And there was an 8-person work group formed for that. We were communicating also and organizing various communication campaigns. So we organized, did you know that? There was this initiative about various facts that were shared. Marketing area was also very active. We worked in lots in this area too. Curator program. 20 people's team was formed. There were training, meetings. We were preparing for the students' summer camp. And so this camp was for the curators to be able to assist and help their new freshman students that they will be curating. Human resources. I'm almost finishing my report. So our organization's members' competences and trainings for the competences of our members. And I'm very happy that during our general meetings, they are very informative. We constantly learn new things in our meetings from professional perspective. We achieve communication, competences, and other. We also managed to completely launch our activities online, remotely. We had to use various interactive methods to continue our activities. And also we organized a social and academic knowledge test. And we also organized a community event, event for getting to know each other better. And towards the end, I'm also very happy that we managed to include alumni to our activities this year. And I'm happy that they really helped from professional perspective. They shared their insights about the organization of events and so on. They participated in general meetings, shared good best practices from the past. So I want to ensure that we make sure there is continuity of our activities, and we also learn from the past activities. And at the end, we don't have a common general photo, but this is what we compiled with our international students from our meeting. We have this photo. This is all those great people without whom we wouldn't be where we are, and we wouldn't have achieved what we achieved. I believe this was an exceptional year, and I really do respect every one of you. And thank you all. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Nada. So let's just thank her with applause. So I'm very happy that you were only 3 minutes. You talked for 3 minutes more than I asked, but it's a really good timing. I'm waiting for 3 questions. So if you do have questions, raise your hand or type it in the chat screen. So please do so now. Anybody has questions? Karina, I see you're raising your hand. Please, you have the floor. Good afternoon, good evening. Nadia, congratulations on the end of your term. I'm sure that the report will be approved. You will be able to celebrate afterwards. My question is, after 1 year of your term, what is the job, something you did you're most proud of? Thank you for the question.
Thank you for the question. Right, I'll point out 2 things, 2 activities.
Įvykdyta byla dėl ekonomikos programos, tai tikrai tą norėčiau labai pabrėžti. Ir taip pat 2 tokios iniciatyvos, kurios buvo šiemet.
Issue or initiatives we had this year was better inclusion of foreign students, inclusion in all the activities. We wanted to do that to make sure that the next year we'll have more people who would like to join and continue the activities. And I actually already received a lot of calls from interested people. So that's another thing that I'm really proud about. And the other thing is that a better cooperation in all the activities that I presented today. We cooperated with other units in solving these problems I mentioned. Thank you. We have a second question from Ugne. Ugne, shall I read the question for you? There were a lot of activities carried out together with the team.
Daug klausimų viename, tai stengiuosi, aš tada trumpai stengsiuosi reaguoti. Taip, tai labai
those problems. Yes, actual questions very quickly. Yes, we did a lot together with the team, thanks to the team. And of course, the team is the basis for everything. It's the team that actually carries out all the changes in their relevant areas of expertise. So yes, team was necessary. Now, about the retention of the team, well, there were some issues with other activities and the lockdown, and all of that meant that sometimes the motivation was a bit low, so we had to really rethink our modes of operation. And we did have a few changes in the team, but then we discussed how should we move forward, and the new members became very active in their activities, and we carried out. Thank you. Justina Peško asks a question: what interactive methods are you using in the meetings? Right. We had a few meetings, a few different examples thus. So we had dashboards where we used brainstorming not on a paper but virtually. And then we had various informal activities after the meetings so that team members could meet, know each other better, and to create new ideas, come up with new ideas. We also carried out surveys, interactive surveys, and interactive reports. We used interactive reports to share the ideas. And there were many other interactive new tools, but these were the main ones that we used in our work. Thank you. Okay. Well, I said 3 questions, but we have time, so we can have a few more questions. Gabia, what about the relationship with the students during the sessions? That was raised as an issue in the previous convention. Other changes? Right, yes. So we communicated with the students, and that was a very important note regarding the students. Because of the lockdown this year, we had lots of difficulties in carrying out the activities smoothly, but we do hope that during the summer we can reach agreements with the administration and we can find ways to include the session students in our activities. And next year we'll have a broader mentor program or curator program. So we'll include master students better. Claudius is smiling up, hearing this. Yes, we'll pay more attention to you, and then we'll also include the session students. Thanks, but I think I'm kind of over with my studies. Right, Juozas. Nice to see you. Hello. Go ahead. Thank you. Can you hear me? Great. Right, it's really nice to see everyone. I have a simple question. Last year we had lots of fights with the board. We fought them and we decided that we don't need this board. So what's your experience without having a board, and what's your recommendation? Do we need one for the new year or not? Yes, a very good question. Thank you, Juozas. Yes, yesterday we had certain issues, certain different opinions regarding different issues. And the year without the board was, well, different. So the chairperson had to do more, and then had to communicate more with the president more. Because of that, some processes ran actually smooth here. The operations plan, the financial plan, they approved more quickly. But on the other hand, there were other issues or activities. Sometimes we needed veterans with their experience and their help, and sometimes the board could actually give their input in reviewing the plans, maybe giving comments, suggestions, looking through the plans for the coordinators, maybe finding new ideas, new activities. Now, do I recommend the same thing for the next year? Well, there are advantages and disadvantages in having a board. So, what can I say? Now, if we have a small board and the members were very motivated, they could help a lot the next chairperson. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, well, when we're asking, do you recommend this? So the best answer is yes and no. That answer can be expected. The Dean now. Thank you. All right, so a quick question. What are you going to use the LinkedIn for? What's the name of the account and why do you create this? Thank you, Dean, for the question. Well, the account name is VU SR FEBA. If you use LinkedIn, you could see this account and use it and follow the account. I'll give the main reasons why we decided to create this account. First of all, we wanted to improve cooperation in looking new partners, and LinkedIn is, in a sense, a very advantageous platform for advertising, for communicating with partners. So that's one of the reasons. Now, another reason, we saw a trend that Facebook was mainly used to see the events and maybe use some groups, but then there's fewer activities, there's less activities on Facebook, and there are less interaction, less comments. But this is what we want. We want people to comment, to give their opinion and feedback. So we see that students are looking for their first jobs, for the practice opportunities. They are going to the professional sphere, and in this area, LinkedIn is more used compared to other platforms. We have a broader reach there than anywhere else. That's a very important reason to use it. And another thing is that through LinkedIn we can reach other audiences, not only students. So students, teachers, others. Thank you, Arturas. You posted the link. Yes, that's very useful. So we can also reach our alumni. They're active in LinkedIn. We can also include other students who are interested in our activities and other partners and companies, etc. So these are the reasons for using the LinkedIn account. Thank you. A very good question. I was also very curious about the LinkedIn account when I heard about that. Now the last question from YouTube feed. That's from the history faculty, coordinator of human resources, Goda Žvirblytė. Hello, on your report you mentioned that there were activities in consulting the students. Do you have any data? How active were the students in the consultations? Yes, thank you, Goda, for the question. No, I don't have the data with me. I'm very sorry. I don't have the data on how often the students would come to us, would ask for consultations. No, the year before we tried to actually measure that better. This year we didn't have a measurement of that. I can only talk about general trends. We had fewer inquiries than compared to the year before. It seems that the members of the same group would consult more between themselves and would help each other in solving their problems. Thank you. Well, we had more than 3 questions, as we announced. We see, right, so we need to move on to the voting, and we shouldn't take too much time. So I'd like to ask Agne to present the voting procedure, and I would like to know who's the chairperson of the voting commission today. Thank you. We'll invite the chairperson to introduce herself. Thank you. I will be the chairperson. Hello, Karina. Well, Karina will have a big responsibility today to present all the results. Agne, please present the e-Balsa system and the procedure for voting. Yes, very briefly. Now, everyone should have in your emails you should get an email in your emails that used for registration, and the email contains a link. You can click on the link, and that allows you to vote on all the open issues. Now, there are no open issues at the moment, but once Claudius announces the issue, the next point of the agenda, we will move to that. So, just to recap, check your email, check all the folders, maybe spam, others, because it might be difficult to find, but we know that the links have been sent out. So open the link and you will see the opportunities of the vote in favor, against, abstention, or maybe you will need to pick between other options. And the chairperson will announce the results later. Thank you, Agne. Let's move on to the vote now. So we have the first issue on vote, the approval of the report for the activities of 2020-2021. As Agne mentioned, you can access the voting through your student email. We'll now have 2 minutes for voting, and 18:54 we will continue the convention. I will also go to vote. Right. Hello, everyone. We had 42 persons who had voting rights, 8 were voting, 8 against, 7 suspension, and 23 in favor. So congratulations, Nadia, your report is approved. Right, congratulations, Nadia. Well, your term is over with this. Move on with the next agenda point. That is the presentation of the candidates to become the chairpersons of VU FEBA. I know of only one person who has supplied all the documents, Justinas Satsevičius. I'd like to ask the convention, are there any other candidates? You have a few seconds to do that, so you raise your hand or mention that in the chat. If you want to raise your candidacy, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Justinas, you are lucky. You are the only candidate. Right, so, well, I guess everyone will have questions for you then, for you alone. So it's 18:56. We'll give you 7 minutes for your presentation, and then we'll have, if you take less time, we'll have more time for questions. So the floor goes for you. Go ahead.
Good evening, participants of the conference, also to listeners of the conference. So my name is Justinas Atsavičius. I study marketing and communications, and briefly I learned about the organization in the student summer camp as a first-year student, and I became soon a member of the organization. I participate in various projects in communications and other activities. I also became curator at the end of that year, and now I have a group of first-year students which I curate. And as I've mentioned in my presentations letter, my goals are international student integration into our community, and also proper representation of students and their opinions. As Professor Lazutka said, so whilst eating, you also learn things during the process. So I want to include everybody into in the community. As I have some time, I will comment on more. I want to include more veterans because they know much better about the processes of the organization. They have good practices to share. So I see those veterans, they could be part of the management. They could help with achieving our objectives as the organization. I would also invite them to be part of working groups. Also, I want to gather a group, a team, who would be able to help me achieve those goals. And I also want to make sure that the experience is passed on. And I believe that each coordinator needs to be trained on all those good practices. Last year we didn't have any live events, so we didn't have so many contacts. But I'm hoping that next year the students once we return to the classrooms, the students will feel much more part of our community, because this is very important. I will end with a quotation too. Ona Maria Vyšniauskaitė, our lecturer, said, I was inspired by this. Not your preparedness needs to be assessed, but you need to assess whether you will be able to dedicate your time to achieve your goals and to assess if you're ready. And I believe I am ready. I want to dedicate as much time for this post as possible to achieve my objectives. So you can ask questions now. Thank you, Justinas. Breathe in, breathe out, and we still have time for the questions, because the interpreters usually are having quite a difficult time interpreting all your quick speech. So it's good that you made this presentation about yourself. Let's see if there are questions and answers. 5 questions to start with. I would like to finish by 1922, by 7:22. Of course, if we finish earlier, then it's good, we save some time. So let's start. The question by the Dean. So I have a question, rather, I want you to promise something. Can we talk about the problems together? You have your cases which you analyze, But I would like to ensure that the administration is included in the raising of those cases at the very beginning. Why do I need this? We need to ensure that we support each other and we don't duplicate our efforts. We need to ensure that we understand administration can help students' representations office and you can help us. I would like from the very beginning to discuss these problematic cases which you are about to raise. Then you do what you do, we do what we do. But I believe this cooperation from the very beginning would be really, really helpful. This is not a question, but a request. Please think about it. Maybe you don't need to commit to that yet, just think about it. I've already written it down. I don't feel obliged. I am happy to commit to this request, and I will do that if I'm elected. Okay, we are starting with promises even though we haven't elected you yet. So don't make promises before you're too early. So I see that the dean is already very happy with making you promises. Another question by Gedra. This is not a question. I was just helping with the voting to one person. Gabija Rutėnaitė. Justinas, remote learning has shown differences between subjects. Some require a lot of time, while others require less time. What you're going to do about it? Thank you for your question. It's good that you mentioned what myself and my team are going to do about it. I cannot answer it fully because I don't know the full scope of the problem. Once I do, we will be able to address it. And the position of the team will be expressed once we form this team, and we'll be able to look at it in detail. What do you think about the communication in Instagram of this year, and what are you going to do further with this communication? Thank you for your question. Ieva Šiaudvytytė asked the question. We launched various initiatives on Instagram, so I would be interested to hear what specific initiatives she meant. We need to see the number of views, comments, and we need to check whether there were the communication reached more people or less people, so we need to check the statistics. YouTube Bernužėlis says, hello, do you have plans, and if you do, how are you planning to strengthen your relations with business school? I'm not sure if this means the faculty itself or the business part of the Students' Representations Office. From Students' Representations Office, as we see that there are certain duplicate areas, certain areas which we are interested in, I believe that we could share certain communications depend on our work, how we will communicate with coordinators and chairpersons. Thank you. I don't see further questions. No further questions, but maybe Nelia would like to ask the question. Nelly, would you like to ask the question yourself? I see it typed down, but maybe you would like to join the live discussion.
Yes, I would love to ask questions. So hello, my name is Nelly. So I'm an international student. So I would just like to know, like, in your opinion now, do you think enough posts and even like the information which is provided, is it enough in English for students who like don't speak Lithuanian?
I will answer in Lithuanian because I'm very nervous. I think we did translate our posts text into English, But if you do have this question, I believe we still need to communicate more with the international students, to ask their opinion, to ask what's wrong, what's not done. So we did have translations, but maybe something is missing, so we would need to discuss it further.
Well, are you talking, Nelly, about the website of faculty, or are you talking about student association, about their website? Which one, please?
No, because for example, in Outlook, I receive like a lot of posts and messages for the events, but sometimes, like mostly the posts, have the possibility to translate it, but sometimes like the post itself contains information and it's all in Lithuanian, so you have to like Google Translate yourself in order to understand what the event is about. And also I think like on the not on the Vilnius University page, but on the VUSA page, like most posts are only in Lithuanian, so you don't get to like see something in English.
So I think that's one of the commas which Justinas, as a future chairman, should emphasize, and also Justas, as a VUSA president, also has to pick in his team. I don't know if you know, there is a person who is responsible for international relations in VUSA central office. This is Roman Adler. You can also contact him. He is from the Faculty of Medicine. He is also responsible for all these international partnerships with students and their all questions. So thank you. It was really nice to hear you. Now I'm switching to Lithuanian. Taigi, ačiū.
Thank you.
Liubinskytės klausimą iš tiesioginės
Nastas Liubinskytės question. Hi, Justinas. I'm very happy for your candidacy. Please name 2 qualities you have that will make you a good leader and representative. And two for good leader and 2 for representative. I have a quality that I like to encourage others to have their own goals. So my goal was to ensure that the coordinators have and achieve their goals. And another one, I'm very curious. I don't say that I know everything, but through transfer of knowledge and via other means, I want to know and learn as much as possible. Karina Ingelertaitė, you have now the floor. Thank you, Justinas, for your speech. It was a beautiful speech. I have a question as a person, as a coordinator, program coordinator. I'm ending my term, and I have a question about honesty and academic ethics. Do you know what the current situation is? How do you plan to ensure academic honesty and ethics? To my knowledge, there was nothing new, no new initiatives launched. The honesty program is not functioning at all. Students need to be taught why they cannot cheat, why they need to be honest, and why they need to learn on their own. Because if they cheat, they lose stuff. They lose some theoretic backgrounds, something they need to learn. This is a reminder to myself and to colleagues, don't be too quick with the questions, because we need to ensure the interpretation goes smoothly, and we need to ensure that there is time for answering them. Now, Justinas Paško question for Justinas. You were in Nadia's team. What would you do differently during your term? I would like to have, first of all, the board. I would communicate more also with the members of the team, administration, other faculties. Teamwork is also key. Another question from YouTube by Justas Kadravičius. Hi, Justinai. you will be, we have so many Justas and Justinas by the same name. So according to your responsibility, you will be representative of students in the council. What goals are you planning to implement during the representation period or your term? I would like to encourage the students to participate in surveys, to participate in general, because sometimes we feel there is a lot of passive students who don't receive replies. I think that we need to discuss it further, but I don't have time to be more detailed. We don't have more further questions. Anybody has questions, we still have time. So if you want, do it now. Let's wait for a few moments. I will have a question then if no further questions. You've mentioned various areas you're interested as a representations officer. You will be also a member of parliament and member of the council. These bodies address matters that are important for the organization as a whole, and also they address matters that are important for the university itself and for what national changes at the national level need to be implemented, do you think? We've recently had a national election. What would be your suggestions? At the national level, what are the most important problems the students face? What would you suggest? At the national level, at the national education level? This is a very difficult question. I'm not that knowledgeable of it yet. If we continue to work online, I think emotional health is very important. We need to really work on that. More interactive method needs to be applied as well. We need to implement this much more. It's no secret that online activities, we often do multitasking. We maybe scroll our telephones and so on. I would like to raise these questions, but I will be able to provide more details when I will be more knowledgeable. Another question on YouTube. So I will send you a print screen. These are the last. So you can have a few moments to relax. If again you still have questions, there is time. So as a person who was active in the parliament for 2 years, as a student's representative and in various bodies, what questions need to be addressed, in your opinion, at the university level? Matters which are important at VU SR level, at FEBA level, in the parliament. At least a few things. Which questions you think are important to be addressed at that level? Thank you. Thank you, Nadia. I mentioned in the quotation I said before, I don't have enough competencies yet in terms of representation. I'm looking forward to obtaining those competences, and then I will be able to. So I will reply more in detail later. Another question. Did you have a team under your command? Were you a manager of a team? How you plan to keep a working team, FEBA team, and to ensure that the team is united? Yes, I have management experience, and how I will try to retain the team. so face-to-face meetings, one-to-one meetings. I want to ask each person's what their goal is. If I forget some question, then please remind me because there are so many questions. It's fine, Justinas. You're answering more or less the questions. Akvilė Žiliūtė, next question. Edvinas Grinius was the previous person. Now Akvilė Žiliūtė. Quarantine is indeed a challenge for all the bodies. Event organization. Do you think that the events were successful? In your opinion, what we will learn from this period of time, and what the activities will be like of FEBA once we return to the university? Okay, so the first question was about the events, was it? Yes. Over 40 persons participated in events. In Mercury's days, there were 120 participants. I don't know the exact number because there were various events. I'm hoping that once we return to the faculty, it will be quite difficult because at the moment we're a bit wild. We forgot how to socialize, so we only know how to work with camera and computer. We'll need to relearn how to communicate. And it will be a challenge to ensure that we function as a community, as a team. Vanessa, you have a question. Your question will be the last. Now we still have one from YouTube. Neda says, hi, Justinas. What challenges do you think you will face as a chairman? As I've mentioned, these cases I've mentioned, I will need to communicate more with the dean in terms of cases, problem cases. I will try in terms of team to ensure that we work together. I have 6 objectives, but I'm sure that as a team we will be able to address those. I received a comment that I'm very serious with my questions, but I think it's normal because we have all those questions. Vanessa, you have the last question, please. Hi, Justinas. My question is this. Cooperation between different units. You've mentioned that. We talk about it a lot. 15 committees and program committees are under VUSA and clubs. So have you thought about the ways to cooperate between VUSA FEBA and all these committees, 15 committees? Thank you for your question. Yes, I'm looking forward to cooperating with them. I think we can organize joint events. We have many things in common with some of those organizations. I think I will encourage the organizational coordinator to communicate with those bodies to ensure there are events and so on. Thank you. Any further questions? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignas Čereškevičius. You have the very last question. Hello. I'm happy to see you all. I have a quick question. Justinas, you've mentioned that team is very important to you. So far, we have no coordinators named. The registration has been closed. Not closed yet, sorry. So what do you think about how should the selection process be done? Thank you. How I will be selecting coordinators? First of all, I will read their applications. If I have any doubts or questions, then I will organize meetings, direct meetings with those people. But I think that the applicants, some of them will be from this year, but the main means will be via reading their presentations and then meetings, direct meetings. Thank you. Justinas. 16 questions you managed to reply. This is a good question. I like 60, good number. I like number 16. That's why we asked you so many questions. And there were so many different and difficult questions. You did well. You had time to meet Justinas. Now I would like to give floor to Agne. She will once again talk about the way of voting. If you are members of our faculty, you can join and register yourself to be able to participate in further voting. Agne, please once again explain the procedure. Hi again. Now there are more people that have connected. That's why I have to explain once again the procedure. You should have already received emails to the inbox which you used to register yourselves. If not, let me know. Make sure you check spam folder and other folders before contacting me if you don't see that email. If you do, once the voting starts, usually there is three options: for, against, abstentions. Sometimes there is more matters which you need to vote on, and then you will see the options you need to choose from. So you will be able to either vote for Justinas or not vote at all. That's it. So please make sure you check your inbox, spam, and other folders. So far, we didn't start the voting yet. I will announce once we do. Agne, can you let us know the number of participants? This is for the protocol, for the agenda. 42, 45. So we need 20 for quorum. We have enough. So we need 20 as a minimum to elect a chairman. We have 45. We're fully capable of electing our chairman. 7 minutes for the voting to ensure you have a few minutes for a break. And then we are coming back at 7:30. We will see the results. We will continue with the agenda. Voting will start soon. I'm asking now to join eBalsas and vote, or you can abstain from voting as well altogether. It's up to you. At 7:30, we will be back, Lithuanian time.
week is over, but we still have enough time. But then there was a mistake in the voting procedure, so I will ask to redo the voting so we can see clearly for, against, or abstention. Agne, can you confirm the situation? Yes, we will open the vote once you say so. Right. So I would like to ask everyone to vote again. I'm very sorry about the problem, but I didn't want to say that during the break. So we'd like to redo the voting regarding the chairperson of VUSA EVAF. Please vote again. We'll have 2 minutes to vote till 1933. The system is the same. Look for your emails, open the link, and vote. Announce the results, and I would like to react to Karol's comment that it's unclear which candidate are we voting for. Well, yes, but then we had only one candidate, Justinas Sacevičius, and there were no changes. So we had a vote only for this one candidate. But of course, we'll take into account your comments, and we will fix that in the next votes. Karina, please announce the results. We had 46 persons registered for the voting, 37 voted, 31 in favor, 4 abstentions, and 2 against. Congratulations to Justinas. I hope your year will be very successful. Yes, let's congratulate Justinas. Applause for Justinas. There is a special functions in Teams to give likes and hearts, not only raise the hand and actually do the applause. So My warmest congratulations to Justinas, and let's move to the next point of the agenda. The candidates, the faculty council, their representations and questions. We need one doctoral student at least, and we have 5 persons from the students, and chairperson gets their ex officio, so Justinas will be there. And I would like to hear your suggestions for the other candidates. You can nominate other candidates or nominate yourself. If you want to nominate someone or nominate yourself, do that now in the chat or raise your hand. And I do hope that everyone hears me well. See Nadia. Alexandras Pieja. So we have 2. We need 2 more. Gabija Rutėnaitė. So we need another person who would represent doctoral students. As far as I know, the students, all the previous nominees are the bachelor students. So can we find a doctoral student? Sorry, I can't write. I'm in a car, says Giedrė Narbutė. Renata Gubžaitė, there is as a participant, so maybe I can nominate her. I can't nominate myself, but I know an experienced person. Maybe she would like to represent. Right, I actually nominated myself. I didn't know that we need to do that in the chat. Thank you, Renata. Yes, well, sorry if I was unclear. So, Renata, you agree to become a candidate. Good, great. So we have as many as we need, 4 candidates. And one of them is a doctoral student. I would like to invite each of you to present yourselves. Please turn on your cameras. We'll give a minute and a half each for a short introduction. Nadia, go first. Hello, everyone. I was the chairperson of EVAF WUSA. I was a member of the parliament. I was also in the council. I would like to continue my activities. I will not be a chairperson anymore, so I'll have more time. And I would like to continue the issues that were raised this year. There are many projects that can continue. So that's why I nominate myself, and I would like to continue in this body. Thank you, Nadia. Alexandras Piežėda, the next one. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm the second-year student in economics program. I was the coordinator of representatives. I was on the ethics commission. I nominate myself for the council because I want to make sure that when the council adopts decisions, students would be heard and their interests would be taken into account. During the meetings, I would like to raise issues together with my colleagues. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Then Gabija will be next. It was nice to see you, Alexandras. Gabija, nice to see you. Go ahead. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I do hope you can hear and see me. So I would like to join the EVAF Council because I'm very concerned with many study issues. I have raised many issues during the convention beforehand. So I do hope to continue my work on these issues. I hope to continue my cooperation with the administration. Thank you, Gabija. Renata, please introduce yourself. Okay, I'm trying to turn my camera on. Well, we don't have a video feed yet. Well, I can't turn my camera on, so let's not waste time. I'll just introduce myself without the video. Good evening. I am in my first year of doctoral studies. I am also working in the Bank of Lithuania in the Department of Investment. I'm a chief economist. I studied at Washington University. I did master studies there, and because I'm interested in finance, I went to London Business School and did Masters of Finance there, and that really left an impression on me. The English system was more interesting than the American one. So I have lots of practical knowledge, and I would like to share that, to offer you all my knowledge from Vilnius University. It's very important to have inclusion of the students, programs, and really have good memories from my experience. As for the doctoral studies, I'm a researcher also in a business school. I was a researcher at the business school. That was interesting to see how they do their programs and projects. So I believe I could actually have a lot of suggestions in this area. And I'll start teaching quantitative economics for the finance program in next year. So I will also be very involved in the university life. Thank you, Renata. Well, it's really nice to hear your presentation. It's very good to hear your motivation to participate and all your international experience. That's very important in my opinion. Yes, we need to bring the best foreign practice to our alma mater. Of course, we only have to do the good practice. Let's leave the bad practice only as memories. So I suggest having no more than 3 questions for the convention. We have 4 candidates, so is there anyone who would like to ask a question for the candidate? Karina, please go ahead. And please say whether it's a question for all candidates or one particular candidate. I have a question for everyone. I have the question for all the candidates. So you will represent the students in VU Council. What are the issues you would like to raise there? What are your plans? Because you didn't supply your motivational letters. What do you have any ideas? Okay, let's start with Renata now, and then Gabi, Alexandra, so on. Right. I see a few areas of interest. First of all, the running of studies, of the courses. We have to see how they look in the international contest. They follow the standards well. The other area is student associations and also job seekings. Well, I also have good experience how job ads are shared. So these are a few areas I'd like to mention. And I had a third idea, but I can't remember it at the moment. Thank you. Gabi, next. Well, I can't really add more to this very good comment that I just heard. Yes, we need to ensure the inclusion of students, also the session students. We have to include them better. And I also hope to cooperate on all the general matters, so better inclusion of the first-year students, etc. Yes, thank you, Alexandras. Thank you. Well, as I said, my main goal would be to ensure that students' opinion is taken into account when decisions are made. Now, I don't have any specific issues now that I could mention for the council, because we need to talk to the students first. And only once they express their opinions, what is important for them, what are their interests and expectations, then we can raise the problematic questions. So I do hope that during the term, we'll be able to find the questions that I could bring to the council. Thank you. Nadia? Right, I think there are two important issues I'd like to mention. Of course, yes, we have to include the students and react to what's happening. But then there are two other important issues. This year, there was an idea was introduced in faculty regarding the financing of research. There was the idea to start a fund. So the council discussed this. I think we should continue this discussion and see what the students can do their research and what value added can they bring to research. So we shouldn't just talk only about the teachers and their participation in the conferences or papers that they produce, because these topics are very well covered on the council. So I'd like to also include the students in this discussion and talk about the student research. Now, the other issue is to look through the strategic plan that was approved this year, and we have to monitor how the plan is implemented, and the council has to discuss that. So these are my main issues. Thank you. I see there's a question by Justina, only for Nadia. You were on the council this year. What were the issues that you discussed there? Right, yes. I was the representative of students together with some colleagues who are on the meeting today. They could add, I guess, if needed. Now, what was important this year? Well, lately, we had to approve all kinds of procedures for the papers, for the we had to approve the financial plan, and we had to approve new general university courses. Another very important issue was the gender equality plan and the implementation. These are the latest, I guess, issues discussed in the council, the latest meetings. Thank you. We have a question from YouTube. Rugile Andreyevskita has a question for all the candidates. What biggest challenges do you see that you could meet as members of the council? Thank you. Okay, I'll give the floor now to Alexandras, as Nadia has just finished answering the question. So, Alexandras, what would be your challenges in the council? Thank you. Yes, I see the biggest challenge is, I've met these challenges in the previous term. So the biggest problem is while you're active in a council or a committee, the biggest challenge is to find a compromise that would be acceptable for the faculty and for the students. That is really difficult. Thank you. Thank you. Gabia is next. Thank you. Well, I might give a more personal answer, I guess. The biggest problem would be to just start speaking, be courageous to speak, because I know that there are people who have a lot of experience, they have diplomas, they're very serious people all around me in the council, and I'm just a student, so that's going to be the challenge for me personally. Thank you. Next is Renata. Thank you. As a doctoral student, I would say that, well, I'm worried about lack of time because I'm planning the agendas and the activities. And I can just hope that there will be enough of time to participate in all the meetings. Thank you. Aida, you want to give a comment or a question? I have a question. Right, okay, then we'll move to Vanessa. Vanessa. And these are two last questions. Thank you. Right, so I'll ask my question before the Dean asks. The Senate of Vilnius University has just approved the strategic operational plan, and the councils in the faculties and other units have to now implement the strategic plan. So, my question is, do you know the strategic plan? Have you acquainted yourself? And what are the most important issues in the plan? And what should be done the first in the economics and business administration faculty? Thank you. Well, that's a really serious question. Let's start with Gabia. Well, I have to admit that I've looked only very long time ago at this document, so I can't really remember much. But from what I remember is that there's the issue regarding the wages of the lecturers. So I think that's probably the most important issue because that's what leads to a better quality of the studies. Renata is next. Right, well, strategic plan is important. And then that reminds me my third important issue that I wanted to mention, the application of the practical studies. We need to have good practice, good internships for the students. So we need to have good internships for the students, for the bachelor studies or the master studies students. And for the doctoral students, we need to have good research projects that would be current, that would use current data, so would actually be useful. Thank you. Thank you. Then Nadia and Alexandras will be last. Thank you. Well, the faculty has already approved it. So I think that, well, it's difficult to pick one thing, but looking from the student's perspective and keeping in mind that we're becoming more and more international. So I think that this part of this strategy that discusses the student place in the society, because that's the part that discusses internationality, and we need the faculty to be a really important international faculty with good international relationships. So we need to continue our efforts in this area. Thank you. Alexandras. Sorry, I just needed a moment to think. Right, thank you. I would agree with our doctoral student Renata for the importance of internship. And I would like to also underline the importance of these previous studies. We have to discuss this topic and find compromise solutions. Thank you for the question. Thank you. For those who don't know, the strategic plan, you can find it out on the university webpage. It was approved just recently for the year 21-22, and the EBAF faculty also approved the strategic plan. Hopefully the dean will say a few words about that, because I don't know this strategic plan. Right. So the deal is like this: we have to answer a question in order to be able to ask a question. So we did approve this strategic plan for Vilnius University, and we moved the most important measures to our own plan, discussed this. We discussed the 1-year plan, the 5-year plan. I think everyone should actually look at this plan and get to know it. We wanted to actually approve it very quickly, because if you don't have a strategic plan, in the beginning of the year, then it's like you don't have a direction. So we approved our plan for the faculty together, almost together with the plan for the university, because we already had the draft plan for the university. I would like to invite everyone to acquaint yourself with the plan. So I have a few comments and a question. I don't remember everyone's names. Excuse me for that. But one mentioned that when a person mentioned that she doesn't have a diploma, and well, that's normal. A student shouldn't have a diploma yet. As for the persons with diplomas, they're in the council to hear the students because they are in the council for the students. So it's very important to have the students in the council. And then the doctoral student mentioned that she's worried about having enough of time. So I'm saying that the council meets every second Tuesday of a month, and it takes about 2 hours. And then you probably need 1 or 2 evenings beforehand to read through the documents. But then normally we actually start at 2:30, 1:30, and then go on till 4 or maybe 5 o'clock. So you should reserve this afternoon, one Tuesday a month, and that should help you to plan your activities. And now I have a question. Well, not so much a question. Let me just think a moment to actually find the best expression for the question. What are your expectations for the council as members? Because we don't have enough time to discuss that on the council. And we'll have then the election of the chairman of the council. So it's important for you to be there in the very first meeting of the council. The question for you is, what do you expect from the council? The dean is a subordinate for the council, and the council is the strategic body of the faculty. And it's and the long-term success of the faculty depends on the council. What are your expectations for the council? Thank you. Let's start with Renata for the answers. Thank you. I'm starting again, okay. I can agree the dean that this body is a strategic body and has to discuss strategic issues. So we have to keep in mind all the strategic decisions made in the international arena. I will do my best to make sure that the decisions are as best as possible, reasonable as reasonable as possible, and we need to ensure that our university is on the same strategic level as the best universities. Thank you. Nadia, next. Right, yes. The dean mentioned a strategic body, and yes, I immediately started thinking about the strategic review from time to time. We have to do the review, we have to evaluate our direction, where are we going, what's happening. And the strategic plan is very important. We have to evaluate what's implemented and what's not, and what are the reasons for not implementation. And another important aspect, where I don't know what to do actually, but my expectation for EVAF Council is that to have more opinions, a broader plurality of opinions. Already, and sometimes it's difficult to find a consensus. But then there are certain members in the council that we hear more often, and some members of the council that are not as vocal. So I would like to hear the opinions of all the members of the council. Thank you. Alexandras is next. Right. Well, on this current term, I saw that the administration and the lecturers can take into account the opinion of the students. So my only expectation would be that the opinion of the students remains heard and accepted. How shall I put it? Yes, accepted. Thank you. Gabi is next. Well, I would like to agree with Alexandras. Yes, I do expect that the opinion will be heard. And my own opinion regarding this question is, well, I expect to add in the growth of the faculty and grow myself. Thank you. Yes, well, we heard the answers. I think we know now what the representatives would like, are expecting in the council, and we'll see if these representatives will be elected for the council. I'd like to close the questions and answers session because we're slightly running late on our agenda, but I think we can catch up. Yes, the council is very important, the representation there is important, and the questions are strategic. I've been there to different councils before the current head of the faculty was elected and with the current head. So we see there are changes in the way that strategic decisions are made, and there are changes in how the body operates. I think that at least every 5 years, you have to evaluate the body itself. What is it doing? And is everyone included? Who needs to be included? So I'm very happy that these issues are also raised during the reporting convention, because that's also a opportunity to discuss some ideas or some hopes. It's also the opportunity to hear the hopes of the student representatives. Okay, let's move on with the next issue of the agenda. So we have 4 candidates for the faculty council, and we need 4 candidates, and we will vote together. We will vote together for all the positions at the end. Now, this next voting will be regarding the Dispute Resolution Commission, the members of this commission, and we need 3 candidates. So please nominate yourself or nominate someone else.
I see 2 candidates, Eglė Romelytė and Aleksandras Spieža. Who's third? And Justinas Atsevičius, the chairman. I know that Justinas agrees with this candidacy. He had to disconnect for a sec, but he agrees with the candidacy. So we have 3 nominees. Let's ask for them to present themselves. Alexandras has already done it. So maybe you will be able to briefly explain why you want to be in the Dispute Resolution Commission. I hope I will be able to be within time. I didn't prepare to talk for too long. You may think that I'm lying, because for each committee which I am candidate for, I say that I want to help the students, ensure their opinions are heard. But this is true, and I think it's important, and this is what I will continue to do if I'm elected to the Dispute Resolution Commission. Thank you. Eglė Romelytė next. Good evening. I hope you can hear me well. My name is Eglė Romelytė. I'm the first year student of global marketing in English. Briefly about myself. I was part of the representations office. I was in the organizational team. I discussed a lot about the integration of international students. And I also assisted in the organization of one event. I also participated in the organization of Mercury Days. Why do I want to be a member of this commission? As Alexandras has mentioned, I think it's important to ensure that the students' needs are met and that their problems are tackled, and a compromise also is found. So that would be all. Thank you. Justinas, we already heard Justinas' presentation. He had a separate session. We won't ask again. Any questions to the candidates? We have 3 candidates, 3 nominees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't see questions. So then, next commission, Academic Ethics Commission, 2 student representatives. I invite you to apply yourself or to name someone, to nominate someone. Academic Ethics Commission. Einoras Tiškevičius and Eglė Romelytė. 5 seconds or more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 nominees. This is what we need. No more nominees. So I give the floor for Einora to present herself. Einoras, sorry. Evening. I'm first-year student of economics. I was in VUSA in organizational area. So I want to be now part of this committee. Thank you. Nothing else to add. Eglė, briefly maybe about what you're planning to do in this commission, because you already presented yourself. Similarly to the Dispute Resolution Commission, I think it's important to represent students' voice. It's important to ensure that all the members of the community feel good, and I want to ensure that this well-being is improved. Einoras and Eglė, thank you for your presentation. We have 2 nominees, and we have enough. Any questions? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No questions. Next commission. Attestation, Entry Attestation Committee. 1 student's representative. Any nominees? Attestation Committee. Alexandra writes that Justinas Atavičius should be nominated. Justinas, have you reconnected to the convention? Anybody else would like to nominate themselves? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I know that Justinas agrees. No more nominees or candidates. So as there are nobody else, we nominate Justinas. We've heard his presentation. We know his objectives and goals, so no further presentation is necessary. Questions, we can't ask questions at the moment. He's not online. Maybe later on we can pass those questions to Justinas. Maybe he'll be able to comment later on. Justinas is accepted as a nominee. Next. College. Study college. 1 representative. Name yourself or nominate someone. Alexandras nominates himself. Anybody else? 5 seconds for that. 4, 3, 2, 1. No one else. Alexandras, why? What are you going to do in this study college as member? As I've mentioned, I am currently students representative in this body. My objective is similar to the one I named for other candidacies for the council. I want to continue my work, what I've been doing. That's it. Thank you. Any questions to Alexandras? Alexandras, will you have time for your studies? I'm extremely happy you're so active, but will you have enough time for your actual studies? Yes, I will have time. Thank you for your question. What do you study? Economics program. Okay, I will check your progress. Thank you. The dean will connect to the system to ensure Alexandra's grades do not suffer. Okay, it's a joke. It's not that easy to do. Any further questions to Alexandras? Claudius, maybe he has good straight A's. He doesn't need any amendments to his grades. Any questions to Alexandras? I don't see none. Good. Thank you. I'm checking whether I missed anything. Commissions or committees? I think not. Study program committees. We have a number. We are famous for our study programs. My suggestion is this. If one representative, we will have a general agreement we won't need to organize a separate voting on that candidate. If there is more than one, then we will do the voting. And then you will vote for that person in e-balsas. If there are none, then the council will have the obligation to nominate someone if there are no candidates. I would like to briefly ask, can I maybe disconnect? I was very happy to be able to partake in this convention, but the time is running out. I still have things to do. Thank you for your presentation, for your work, for this event. It's been really interesting. I wish you all the best. Once again, I would like to say each and every one of you participate in these commissions and committees, and this is extremely important. We want to ensure that we have our representatives across the board. We have major objectives and we want to ensure they are implemented. So thank you once again and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you. Now we start with student program committees. Bachelor's committee. I have already a draft where I have a number of candidates. Nadia nominates herself. Anybody else would like to nominate themselves? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one else. We've heard Nadia's presentation. Do we have any questions to her? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No questions. Anybody against or approving, as per general procedure, her candidacy? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nobody against. Thank you. Economics Bachelor Program. Alexandra Spierja. Anybody else would like to nominate themselves to this committee? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. Alexandra's presentation we've already heard, so we won't hear it again. Any questions? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, none. Anybody against or voting according to the general procedure? No. Business information systems and strategic management. Bachelor studies. 1 representative. Iveta Sherpetite has nominated herself. Iveta, can you hear me? I believe Iveta is not on the line, but she expressed her wish to be nominated as the member of this committee. We can still agree to this. Anybody against? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nobody against. So Iveta has been approved as a nominee. Business bachelor's program. Anybody would like to participate? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nobody. So the council will decide. Accounting and finance management, master's degree, sorry. Who would nominate themselves? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The council will decide. Bachelor in quantitative economics. Anybody would like to nominate themselves? The board will decide. Finance and banking in Lithuanian and English. Master's program. Would like to nominate themselves? Anybody? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. It will be done by the management board. The Masters of Economic Management. The board will state economics policy, master's degree. Anybody would like to nominate themselves? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no. The board will decide. Quality management, master's degree, Karolina Čanytė. Karolina, would you be able to present yourself briefly? Yes, hello, my name is Karolina. I'm part of the master's program for quality management. I would like to continue my job because I've already participating in many initiatives we've launched. I will not speak a lot in detail, but we've already started many activities and I would like to continue what we started. So this is my wish to continue what I've already started. Anybody has questions to Karolina? Questions? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Karolina, for your presentation. No further questions. Anybody against Karolina continuing her position in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Nobody against? Thank you, Karolina. Congratulations. The Marketing and Integrated Communication Study Program in English and Lithuanian. Anybody would like to nominate themselves? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. This will be decided by the board. Economic Business Development Master's degree. Anybody, as nobody wants to nominate themselves, the board will decide. So the Committee of Global Marketing Study Program. There's 2 available positions. I see Vanessa would like to nominate herself. So we need 2 people, 2 representatives. Somebody said something. I would like to nominate him. He excused himself. He wasn't able to participate in the meeting, but he would like to be nominated. Alexandras, do we have any restrictions? Does the student need to be in bachelor's or master's studies? 2 representatives, that's it, no further limitations. Vanessa, Renatas Kandrotas, and Emilia Lukauskaitė, 3 candidates. I would like to hear everybody's presentations. We will be voting on e-balsas for this one. So, Vanessa, you have the floor. Hello, everyone. I asked a question, but I didn't present myself yet. I'm first-year student, but this is not my first year in VUSA as student's representative. I'm student's representative currently in the Senate of Vilnius University. This is not my first year in this office. I studied previously in a different faculty. I have 4 years experience. I was coordinator. I also worked in the Central Bureau. I was a coordinator, so I did a lot in various areas. Why I would like to be a candidate to this committee. This program is quite new, and there is still room for improvement. More targeted approach could be applied in terms of listening to students' opinion. I believe there is room for improvement, as mentioned, so I'm hoping to be able to represent students well. And I'm looking forward to your questions. Thank you, Vanessa. Renatas Kandrotas. His presentation you can see in the chat. I am a first-year student in marketing. This is what Renata says. Erasmus committee member. I'm also the manager of the Erasmus Plus strategy, and also have 10 years experience in the non-governmental educational organizations. So I believe he has this experience. Now the presentation by Emilia. Emilia, you have the floor. Can you hear me? Good evening. My name is Emilia Lukauskaitė. I'm a first-year student. I study global marketing and I studied in Lithuania. I've already participated in this activity this year. I would like to continue my activities. What's more, I'm also marketing and organizational area representative in VUSA. This is all about me. There is nothing to add, I think. Thank you, Emilia. Good to see you. 3 nominees or candidates. Anybody would like to ask something? Alexandras will be replying on behalf of Kondratas because he raised his nomination and Kondratas is not connected today. Karina. Yes, I have a question to everybody, all 3 candidates. I would like to know why I would need to vote for you or not the other candidates. Thank you. Let's start with Emilia. I will turn on my camera. So this year, there were many uncertainties throughout the year. There is still many things we haven't finished. It's a new program. And as a first-year student, it was quite difficult to understand everything. And this is a new program, so there is still many things that need to be clarified. I would like to make sure that I continue what I've started, to continue my input in the Lithuanian group of this program. That would be all. Thank you. Alexandras, please reply on behalf of the candidate. I won't be able to. I invite to take into account what I already said about the candidate in his presentation. That's it. Vanessa, now your turn. I would be able to speak on and on why you would need to vote for me. I'm already a student's representative in the Senate, and I do have experience in this area. So I would like to learn of certain issues at the study program committee and then bring those questions upward in other bodies. I would like to have an advantage in this area because I am already a member, as mentioned, of other bodies, so I would be able to give broader perspective to certain issues at the committee level and then maybe bring them to be discussed at a different level. Anybody else would like to ask something? No. Thank you then for the candidates. E-Balsa system will be used because we have 2 positions and 3 candidates. Next. So once again, we have 3 candidates and we have 2 only available positions. So the next is a human resource management study program. Business process management, master, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no candidates. The board will address this. Last program, accounting and audit. Any nominees or candidates? Agnė Kazlauskaitė nominates herself. I already had it written down. Once again, could you present yourself briefly, Agnė? Of course. I've already represented students last year. Unfortunately, I think I didn't have enough experience. I would like to continue working there and then pass on my experience to others. This is a very young program, new program. I believe there is still room for improvement, so I would like to help the students. Thank you. Good to see you, Agne. Any questions to Agne? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No questions. Anybody against approving her candidacy according to general procedure? Anybody against? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Taip, tai dar kartą yra išrinkti vadybos programoje Nadia Solupaeva-Rondlev, ekonomikos Aleksandras Piežia, verslo informacinių sistemų ir strategijos.
So once again,
programos jungtinio komiteto, Iveta Šerpitytė.
we once again naming the candidates.
Apskaita ir auditas bakalauro.
Accounting and audit. Agne Karlauskaitė. Global marketing. We have 3 candidates. We'll be voting for them in e-balsas. Business, management, accounting, banking, state finance policy, marketing development, human resources management, business process management. These are all candidates that will be elected by the board, according to the board. Collegial body election. Let's start with this procedure. We are 15 minutes late. I hope the procedure will go smoothly. First of all, let's decide how many members we are suggesting. I suggest 3 members for collegial body. Anybody against? 3? 3 people. 1 is ex officio already. The chairman, Justinas Savičius, would be, and then we would need to elect 2 more.
Is anyone against? 5. No one against. Okay, so we'll have 3 members of the board to elect them. Justinas is on it. We'll have to elect 2 members. Please nominate someone else or yourself for the VU FEBA board, which we will have. Yeah. And the board is responsible for the yearly operational plan and the activities and the financial management and other areas. We have 2 nominees, Justina Peško and Aleksandras Pieža. Anyone else? Any other nominees? No one else? Thank you. We have, 2 nominees, and we need 2 nominees. So we'll give the floor now to Justina to represent herself. It's very nice to see you. We worked together already, so I'd like to give the floor. Thank you. I am Justina. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm in my 3rd year economics program. I'm in my 3rd year in student representation, so I'm almost a veteran here. In those 3 years, I've been a coordinator for the academic matters. Then last year, I've been on the council for EBAF, and I've also been a member of the board, so I have some experience. And I'd like to share this experience with our new chairman and help him in the further activities. That's my short introduction. Thank you, Justina. Alexandras, would you like to add something? What would you like to do on the board? Because we already heard you as a student representative. What about the board? Well, yes. I nominated myself for the board, and I would like to see the board as a good example, a good practice for everyone. It shouldn't impede the coordinators or the student representation, but it should help them and help them achieve the best results. Great, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the questions and answers. Let's do no more than 3. because we had a long session already. So let's optimize this process. Any questions? I see two hands. Vanessa. So let's start Karina, Nadia, and then Vanessa. And that will be all for the question. Please address the question either to a specific candidate or to both of them. Question for both, says Karina. Yes, a board. Well, is the board a advisory or a management body? Alexandras. Thank you for the question. Well, I've read the statutes of a few faculties regarding the board, and a few of those statutes mention that it is a governing body, but the others say that it's a advisory body. My personal understanding would be that it is a more of a advisory body that helps to ensure a smooth operation of the coordinator team. Thank you for the question. Thank you, Justina. Thank you. I'll also be brief. Yes, there are different opinions, whether it's a governing body or an advisory one. And we heard some different ideas from what Nadia said and Justinas. And the idea is to have an advisory body to share their experience and to make some decisions. So it should be an advisory body. Thank you. Yes. Now, Nadia asks a question. Thank you. My question. Now, you can't answer my question by saying that we will discuss that in a board meeting and because of the chairman. No, I want to hear your opinions. What are your ideas and impressions of how do you see sharing the workload between the board members, whether in ensuring certain activities or maybe you see the other ways of sharing workloads and the responsibilities. So what would you suggest during the first board meeting? Thank you, Nadia. Your question was long, so I had time enough to turn my lights on. Good. Justina. Thank you. Thank you, Nadia, for your question. My personal vision be that the board could select different areas and each member would have his own area. And then the coordinators could go to a specific person of the board, ask for help, and ask for advice. Thank you. Thank you, Alexandras. Thank you, Nadia, for your question. I think the same as Justina. The good experience, the good practice that the other faculties are using is this, and I think this is efficient, and I agree with Justina's proposal. Thank you. Vanessa is next. Thank you. So I'm asking serious questions today. I'm going to do that again. I know Justina very well. I know what she has done. So I have a question for Alexandras. You were a coordinator this year. So what work was the most important for you, and did you leave some unfinished tasks, and do you feel prepared for the board, or would you maybe prefer staying as a coordinator and continuing some of your tasks that you haven't finished? Okay, Alexandra, please answer. Thank you for your question. Yes, I was the coordinator for the representatives, and I think the most important job that was the most challenging was working on the case of economics program regarding the specialization. There are many, many challenges there. We had to communicate a lot with the students and the administration. So that, I think, was the biggest task. Now, have I left something unfinished? Well, there's always something to improve. There are always further opportunities. But then I do feel quite good But what I've done, I think that I have solid experience, and I feel that I'm ready to join the collegial governing body. Thank you. We had 3 questions. Let's not continue unless someone wants to hear something very specific question. 5, 3, 2, 1. No one? Okay. Right. If you are elected, I'd like to remind you that the council in the 2019 has adopted the guidelines for collegial governing body, and you can take note of that and implement those guidelines. So I'd like to suggest you to look at the document when thinking about your further tasks, because preparing the document, many different experiences were summarized. Right. The next agenda item is the parliament, and I was really waiting for the candidates here. So we have 3 representatives from 3 EVAF representatives. Every unit has 3 team members. So one of the representatives will be Justinas as the chairperson. Please nominate yourself or someone else. I see 2 nominations. Nadia and Vanessa Roženskytė. Anyone else? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one else. Great. Well, guys, we heard your presentations already, so we can just move quickly to your goals and what do you want to do in the parliament. Why people need you in the parliament? Nadia, please go ahead. Great. Right, so I'll just save time and I'll be very brief. I was in the parliament for 2 years, and I was first this year ex officio representative. So I think I have a lot of experience. I was head of one of the working groups this year, and that was really useful. I'd like to thank the team again. We discussed the issue of internships, and we had a review of what is the situation now in Vilnius University. That was a very important issue. We discussed that in the parliament. We actually carried out a good analysis and applied some ideas for the university how to improve the system of internships. So that's one example of what was done. And hopefully next year, if I'm elected, I will have even more time to raise more issues, solve more problems, and join other work teams, working groups, and share my ideas and comments. Thank you. Vanessa is next. Right, yes. So Nadia was in the parliament for 2 years, and I was there also for 2 years. Though I was there from a different unit. But then this body, for me, was always an aspiration. I always wanted to represent students there. Doesn't matter from which unit exactly. Because I believe that this body, the parliament, is the place to discuss not only the issues of a specific unit, but more global issues. So I read the motivational letter from Justinas, and he mentions there the student research clubs. I was also a coordinator of a similar issue. And when I was in the parliament recently, we had discussions about this. So I would like bring this issue again to the agenda of the parliament because it is a very important issue. So that's one of my aspirations for the parliament. Now, another issue is that I'm currently cooperating with various Lithuanian organizations, and I see a possible input from student representation, the input that representation can bring to the Vilnius city in general, or even Lithuanian level. So We need to find platforms where we can discuss issues. We have to make actual, real, good resolutions. Now, for many years, the parliament was a body just only raises hands and votes. But I like to see that differently and to have real changes. But there, I think we need to bring the changes from the inside. That's what I would like to do. To make sure that the parliament actually brings real results instead of just meeting once a month as a group of friends and just chats about issues. No, we have to look for solutions and implement those solutions. Thank you. Thank you both for quick presentations. So we'll have no more than 5 questions. So anyone has any questions? I'm sure there will be many. I'm not rushing you. Please share also the questions from YouTube. Yes, I see Augusta Grakavenaitė, the current chairperson of the parliament. Best regards for the history department. Hi, girls, that's what she says. Is the activity of the parliament members equals the efficiency of the parliament members? Does that show the quality of the parliament? Vanessa, sorry, I missed one word in the question. Yes. The question is, does the activity, being active in the parliament, means that you're efficient in the parliament? Right, okay. So, as I mentioned in my presentation, I don't think the parliament is active now for many years. Now, I don't want to blame the previous or current parliament members. I don't want to blame anyone that people were not active. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the people were not effective. But I do see room for improvement. We can see the trends, can see the policy discussions and join them on the university level. So on one hand, being active does lead to efficiency, but on the other hand, it's, well, I have high expectations for the parliament, and I do believe that the parliament can be more efficient and more effective and actually bring change. A change inside the body itself, and also a change showing for the outside that the parliament is busy with actual things. Thank you. Thank you. Nadia? Well, my impression here is that I'm just thinking about the question again. Yes, being active is an important part of being effective. There are effective members, there are efficient members of the parliament, but then when some parliament members are not very active, well, then the chairpersons have to do more. So the chairpersons of the units have to be more active to balance out those who are inactive. So this is a very important issue. Being an active member of the parliament is important. It's not enough that one person from a unit being active. And it's not enough that a few persons in the parliament are active. And I would like to support what Vanessa said. Just talking for the for the sake of talking is enough. We actually have to do a good analysis. We have to discuss topical issues, be proactive. Proactive in what's discussed in policy and in other areas. Thank you. I see no other questions in the chat. There are no questions on the YouTube feed or our chat. We have time for more questions if you have them. And if others don't have questions, I have one. So yesterday we had a convention for the philology department. So if you watch that, you will have heard this question. So imagine this. You're a member of the parliament, and in one of the meetings, see the president of student representation who comes with a issue regarding costs, and the decision has to be made now and then. And the issue is the closing down of the university. Now, what would you do? And would you actually take this decision? And how would you see this process? How would you see your part? Because that's the decision that the parliament made, that make. And the parliament has to express its position, and the student representation has to also express the position regarding the closing down of the university. How do you see this? So who starts? Nadia will go first this time. Well, I see this is a totally hypothetical situation. And I'm really lacking context in this question. Of course, we really need the students to be included in on all the levels, but it would be likely that this decision would be coming from other central bodies of Vilnius University, and that's probably already a working group, or maybe it was a suggestion by the rector, or maybe it was suggested by the Senate or from other working group. Like we had a COVID working group that had their own meetings and discussed the situation. So it's possible that the issue has been already discussed and there are some arguments for it. So how I would start discussing this issue? Well, we really have to look at the issue, where it's coming from, what are the reasons, and not start by taking a defensive position, but start by understanding what are the reasons for these suggestions, and then start to an analysis. How would that affect the students? But if we're talking about an actual closing down of the university, well, the student representatives would be very clear, I guess, regarding this issue. But then if the question would be raised as a hypothetical, then that would be a bit different. Of course, the students would want to continue their studies, to continue their activities, but it's important to actually understand how this situation came about, discuss it, and then come to a conclusion decision. Vanessa. That's a very hypothetical situation. It reminds me of a history that happened actually a year ago, where a university was closed down, and the chairman of the parliament was actually the student representative. So we saw this happening, and I think the parliament has to show an example and carry out its duties. We have to look at the context, why the university is closing down. Does it actually solve the underlying problem? If I would see this as an actual good solution for the underlying problem, well, then I could say that yes, we can discuss the possibility to close down the university. But then, well, it is a hypothetical situation which is based on actual historic precedent when the university was actually closed down. And I do believe that in that case, the university had to be closed down. So I think it was a good decision, and the community was united. So it showed for the university and to Lithuania as a whole that it is possible. So if president would suggest this point on the agenda, and then if I would see this as a way of forward of solving the problem, because, well, of course, I don't think anyone would just want to close down the university for the sake of that. If the president would suggest to close down the university just with no reason, then of course I would really be against. But if that would solve the underlying problem, I would support that. Thank you. I would like to remind you that the university was closed down for 4 times during the history of the university. There were some systemic changes, and then there was a lockdown during the quarantine, and then there was the occupation. So this happened already in history, and do need to discuss the reason for such a decision. Now I see no further questions. Last opportunity. There is a question from the YouTube feed. Angelika Jankauskite. A question for Vanessa. Hi. You had a break of a year from the parliament activities. You were not active in the parliament for the year, but you were active in Lithuanian Union of Youth Organizations. What experience can you bring from there? Yes, that's right. I was in this council for the youth organization in Lithuania. I didn't mention that. And we discussed many political issues regarding education. I think that can be brought back to the parliament and can discuss this in our context and then maybe show an example to other organizations in Lithuania. Now, I can't give concrete examples because I didn't prepare for that. I can't give the concrete examples at the moment, but there were many pertinent issues discussed, and I could share that. And I think that even this year, the parliament missed opportunities to voice their opinions regarding the educational issues. Only the president voiced the opinion, but not the parliament itself. So I would try to ensure that the parliament has opinions and makes resolutions on these issues. Thank you for the question. Thank you. A question, yes or no? Do you think that this experience will help you to be a better representative in the parliament? Yes. Thank you. Any further questions? 5, 3, 2, 1. No further questions? Okay, we're finishing this topic on the agenda, and then we will moving to the last topic, that is the candidates for the VUSA reporting and election convention. And I would like to ask Justas Pedravičius, president, to introduce this question.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, would like to say that I'm happy that there are so many candidates. I'm happy with all the discussions we've had so far. I would like to invite everyone to participate on the 8th of May as a delegate or as a student and to watch this reporting convention, as well as vote for the questions which are important to the strategic goals of the organization. There will be a financial accountability report and other matters that will be mentioned. For this last 1 year, we've achieved many things, and I was representing the interests of students. I invite everyone once again to participate, mark the day in your calendars, 8th of May, and ask questions, take part in the discussion, and be part of the change. Thank you, Justas. So each unit has 10 representatives in this convention. Please, in the chat window, write down if you want to participate as delegate. So we have 5 candidates. Anybody else? You can also nominate someone. We still need 5 more. Justinas has nominated himself. Dovilė Zalepugaitė. Dovilė, do you agree with this nomination? I'm sorry, I think Dovilė is on vacation, if I'm not mistaken. Academic vacation, academic leave. Dovilė has replied that she agrees. Even though she is on academic leave, she still maintains her status as a student. Eglė Romelytė and Airona Tiškevičiūtė. Einara Tiškevičiūtė. Apologies, Einoras Tiškevičius was the last nominee. Please let us know if you agree or disagree with the nomination. Eglė? Einoras? Yes.
Can we be delegates while on Erasmus study? Jūs įgyjate. 1 second. Vanessa, galbūt galėtum patikslinti dėl šito.
Vanessa, could you confirm you're part of the Parliament working group, legal group? Can a person on Erasmus exchange program partake in this convention? If they have a student status, then yes, they can raise their candidacy because they have a student status. They can nominate themselves. Ieva Dudaitė. Ieva, do you agree? I hope that, Paul, you received the translation. Brief answer, yes, you can. It's good, because we speak at least a few languages. Let's count the chicken. Karina, Vanessa, Claudius, Aleksandras, Nadia, Justinas, Dovilė, 7, Eglė, 8, Einaras, 9 candidates. Paul, 10 candidates. Ieva, do you agree with the nomination? You would be 11th. We need 10. Ieva? Ieva Dudaitė? I can't hear you. I hear somebody typing, but it's not Ieva. Last chance. If I won't hear Ieva's reply, I will say we have 10 candidates, and that will be what we need. So 5 seconds. Ieva, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ieva Dudaitė, do you agree? As we don't have Ieva present and without her consent, we only can accept 10 nominees for the annual VUSA convention on the 8th of May, on Saturday. So I will invite everybody to participate. If you won't be able to attend, you will be able to delegate your obligation to another person. I will share all the information about the conference soon and its candidates. We have 10 nominees: Aleksandras Pieža, Nadia Solopayeva, Justinas Mantzevičius, Vanessa Ražinskytė, Karina, Klaudijus Melys, Dovilė Zalepagaitė, Eglė Romelytė, Einoras Tiškevičius, Paul Obi,
Tikiuosi, kad kažkas bent
Paul.
Tai turime 10 kandidatų.
My surname.
Turim 10 iš 10, turbūt pasisakymų nereikalausime. Ar konferencija...
Ovie Diabulov. So 10 nominees.
Prašau pasakyti balsu, jeigu to norėtumėte išgirsti. 5 sekundės. 5.
Do you want to hear presentations? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Noro niekas nepareiškė, tai turime
Nobody expressed their wish, so we have 10 out of 10. Let's go to the voting procedure.
Seniai girdėjom Agnę, tai Agnė...
Agne, we haven't heard you for a while. Please explain the procedure of voting to us.
O Jezu, gerai.
Oh God.
Per tą laiką.
Taip, pas mane už lango tamsu, nėra, kad aš visos...
It's dark outside. I didn't even have time to turn my lights on.
Dar kartą labai trumpai.
Okay,
Kol kas
once again,
jokių svečių neatsirado pas mus konferencijoje.
there are no new guests on our conference, but just to make sure, I will explain it again. You should have received letters, emails to your email address. You need to make sure you check inbox, spam folder, etc. There will be a link to all the questions. You will be able to vote for all active questions. If there is one candidate, you can vote for, against, or abstain. If there is more than one candidate, you can vote from 0 to the number of available positions. That's it. I'll repeat it once again. If something is not clear, ask, text me. If you didn't receive an email, let me know. We'll check. In case there are any technical problems, inform us right away. We have as many candidates as we need. We have 3 representatives to student program committee, 3 for business, global business. We have 3, and we only have 2 positions available, so you need to choose out of 3, 2. The rest, we have only the number of available positions and the same number of candidates. Please vote. Connect to eBalsas system, and we're coming back at 21:10, 10 minutes after 9. We will announce the votes. Please go to eBalsas and vote. Don't miss anything because there is quite a big list. Make sure you vote for everyone. finished with the procedure. There was a mistake in one voting. As for the candidates to the conference of VUSA reporting convention, we will repeat it again. But now let's present the final results. It will be done by Karina. Can we wait for a sec, please? I will let you know once she's ready. Good. I would like to ask whether Agne, do we have everything correctly now? Yes. So let's make sure. Karina, is she on the voting under the options? Karina, could you reply to this? Apologies, I didn't hear the question. Can we check the persons, candidates? I want to make sure that we have all the 10 persons correctly who on the ballot who were nominated. Yes, we can. I have many computers on, sorry, so I need to find the list. I would like to remind you that we're live, so let's continue. Just a moment.
Čia vadinasi, kai nori pabaigti greičiau, tai tada ir taip ir nesigauna. Atsiprašau, kad 7 minutės užsitęsė konferencija.
Apologies for running a bit over the time limits, running late, but we want to make sure everything is done correctly. At the moment, we will call the results. So the candidates are Karina, Claudius, Aleksandras, Nadia, Justinas, Dovilė, Eglė Romelytė, Einoras Tiškevičius, Paul Eibalor, Ieva Dudaitė, Gabija Rutėnaitė are not candidates. Karina, please present voting results. Did we elect successfully students for all commissions? Agne has it open, so I still see that it's in progress. Apologies, my computer is working slow. You can announce the results to the council. 36 votes were cast. I'm sorry if I read the surname incorrectly. I don't do it deliberately. It may be my mistake. Apologies. Veronika Pužaitė 35 for. Gabija 26. Nadia 23. Aleksandras Pieža 22. I congratulate all the candidates. Your candidacy has been approved. Academic Ethics Commission, 36 votes were cast. Eglė received 34 votes. Tiškevičius received 32 votes, so congratulations to the candidates. To the Dispute Commission, the results are 36 votes, Eglė received 35 votes, Justina 30 votes, Aleksandras 23 votes. Once again, congratulations to all successful candidates. Representatives, Aleksandras received 36 in total. Aleksandras was also elected successfully. Congratulations. Attestation Commission, Justina received 32 out of 36, 3 abstentions, 1 against. Justina, congratulations for the nomination. Global Marketing Study Program. We had 3 candidates. Vanessa, congratulations, you received 30 votes. Emilia Lukauskaitė, you received 20 votes. Renata received 14 votes. So the first 2 were elected successfully. Congratulations. Collegial body, 36 votes were cast. Justina received 34 votes. Aleksandras, 19 votes. Yes, we do have 50%. Could you repeat that, please? Yes. Just a sec. Collegial body, 36 votes were cast. Justina Peško, 34. 19 of Aleksandras Piežė. 1. 19, so we have exactly 50% plus 1. That's exactly what we need. Parliament, 31 for Vanessa, Nadia, 22 votes. I once again congratulate both candidates. I think I've mentioned all. I hope I didn't miss any points. Yes, all the votes were cast successfully. I congratulate all the elected students. Now let's turn to one vote that was missing one person. I did check, the link is working. You will be able to vote. There are 10 candidates. This is the number we need. Please, once again, go to the link. I'll give you 2 minutes, and then we'll announce the results. 21:20. We will announce the results. Please vote now.
voting. Claudius Melis, 23 votes. Justinas Isevičius, 23. Eglė Romelytė, 22. Karina Gilertaitė, 22. Einaras Tiškevičius, 21. Paul Ovier Ejablior, 20. Dovilė Zabulaitė, 20. Vanessa Ženskytė, 20. Alexandras Piežė, 18. Nadia Roth, 17 votes. Thank you. We needed at least 13 votes to get 50% plus 1. And we had 25 voting persons, more than 20, so all the decisions are made. Congratulations for all the 10 delegates who will participate in the VUSA reporting and election convention. And thank you everyone for your trust. Right. This is everything. I'm finishing my term. My turn here as a chairman. I would like to congratulate everyone who was elected as a representatives. Thank you. Congratulations, Nadia, for finishing her term, and I would like to congratulate Justinas for starting his term tomorrow when the minutes are ready. Well, this is our tradition to start by handing out the minutes to the next chairman personally. Well, we'll do that now that electronically. So I would like to announce that the convention is closed, and everyone who'd like to move from YouTube platform to congratulate the chairpersons, the X1 and the new one, you mentioned that in your chat, and you will be able to join our Teams meeting. And I'd like to invite Nadia and Justina and Justas, maybe as the head of the organization, would like to say a few words. So, Nadia, go ahead. Yes, thank you. So, I already started by saying a few words, conference, and I talked a lot about the convention, that the team is the basis for all the success. So I'd like to again thank all the members of EVAF team. This year had a lot of challenges, but that taught us a lot, and we learned our lessons. We'll move on. There is the light at the end of the tunnel, and we will be able to meet quickly face to face. Yes, the year was difficult, but then I really hope that we'll be able to see each other soon. I'd like to thank everyone who joined the convention, spent here more than 3 hours, voted for your representatives. Thank you all the students for participating. And I'd like to encourage you to talk, to express the students' opinion, and to start the activities you would like to carry out in VUSA or just as members of our faculty. So I would like to wish you courage and have good ideas. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice evening. And best of luck for Justinas in his term. Thank you, Nada. I just came back, solved my problems. Thank you, Nadia, for your term, for your efforts, for your success. And thank you for all the participants in the convention. Okay, anyone else wants to say something? Justas. Thank you. Yes, I'd like to say a few words. So there was a long presentation, then a short, then a congratulation. So maybe we should open champagne. I was very happy to see you, Nadia, in action in the previous year. We had challenges, we had difficulties. It's good that we managed to. It's good that we achieved a lot, learned all the lessons. And I do believe that the lessons will be very valuable for the future. I believe that, Nadia, you will continue reaching high goals. You can reach anything you want. I'd like to thank the team. They stayed together even in this difficult remote year. Thanks for all the organization and for all the team. You stayed in the team during the very challenging year. And I would like to congratulate Justinas for your new position. I hope we can meet very quickly and have a chat. I was really interested to see your presentation and your answers to questions. Well, I see that VAF has really great people, and I'm sure we will do a lot.